up, everybody? Welcome back to the Most Valuable Podcast. I am Mark Williams with my colleague
Victor Castro.
and we're just two dudes who do real estate for a living. And today we're going to talk about personality versus professionalism.
Where's the line?
Where's the line? There you go. Personality versus professionalism. Where is the line? And we're really going to pertain to social media, because if you are a small business owner like ourselves and you don't have a social media presence, you don't exist, okay? And with the growing importance of social media, there comes kind of like this gray area of what's acceptable and what isn't, right? And we're going to talk we'll give some examples about real estate because that's the industry we're in. And, we put out content out there. We, we like to try to think we show our personality to an extent, and then also trying to maintain like professionalism, right? Because I feel, and this is just me personally, the positions we're in, we deal with like very sensitive topics. We deal with high dollar amounts. And just me growing up, maybe I'm aging myself, because I grew up in an era where social media didn't exist, and then it existed, and then it's transformed. But I've grown up where like when you're working, like business is business and like personal is personal. And I can speaking for myself, it is hard for me sometimes to kind of blend both of them because I'm so used to keeping that separated. But in today's age, like sometimes that line gets a little blurry, and maybe we give a little bit too much of our personal side.
Yeah, no. To each their own. You're entitled to do whatever you want on social media.
Yeah.
But at least for me and for Mark, and this is why we work together. Obviously, we have a very similar way of thinking and doing things. Is we do social media with the intent to educate you. That's the most important thing to us, is making sure you're educated as a consumer. And obviously in that process, we show a little bit of our personality or humor, or
we have to entertain.
We have to.
Because if it's just boring,
we don't want to be boring.
You're going to change the channel on us.
Yeah, exactly.
So to speak.
But we do try to keep in mind, that line that we don't want to cross.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we don't want to offend anyone, even though it's kind of hard not to sometimes. Because things are just how they are, right?
Yeah. People are probably going to take offense and probably think we're attacking them right now on this podcast. We're not, just because. And that's one thing, and we'll get that. Let's get that out the way from the start. Just because someone has an opposing opinion doesn't mean they're right and you're wrong, or they're wrong and you're right. It's okay to have a debate and have opposing views on things. That's all. I just want to get that out the way. So if you take offense to what somebody's saying, then you're thinking that your way is either your way or the highway. And we're not saying that. We're not saying what you're doing is wrong. We're just saying from our point of view, when is that line, like how far to cross that line? And this is where like your guys' engagement, the listeners or the viewers on YouTube, this is where it'd be great to hear your feedback in the comments. And, if you're listening to on the podcast, pull us up on our Instagram at the MVP Real Estate, and you'll see a clip for this podcast, and leave a comment in there, right? Because I would love to hear your feedback, because that's great. Like hearing both sides is good. However, this is our podcast, so we're gonna give our view.
Yeah. Look, Mark, first impressions are important.
100%.
And so I think that is something that we obviously take very seriously. And our followers that have been following us for numerous years, months, they know a little bit about us already.
Yeah.
But what happens when you're creating new posts, new content for for people to see, and then the new followers are like, they're like right there in between. Should I continue to follow this person or should I not?
Yeah.
And I think that is how you need to determine how you're gonna produce your content, is
Okay.
because if you're keeping that in your head and you're producing content in that way, then you can never cross the line.
I got you. I see what you're saying. So, like, if someone was to randomly stumble upon your page, for us, the way you view it is, what's the number one thing they're going to get from following me on social media? Educated. That's number one important.
Yes.
2 is you're going to get educated in an entertaining way. And then 3, you're going to learn a little bit about me personally.
All at the same time.
All at the same time, following you, right? And following us. And I'm with you. That's kind of like my thing. It's like educate, entertain, learn a little bit about Mark, and maybe come along for the journey. And our success is dependent on, you guys, like allowing us to help you in this journey of buying and selling homes. So, yes, I think it's okay to like share successes and wins and stuff like that. And then it's also okay to share losses as well. But what we're getting at is, where's that fine line of, when you're sharing this, what do you actually share? And when do you cross that line and you share too much?
What are you coming off as to the other person on the other side of the screen? Seeing your phone, seeing your posts. That is what you should make content for. Or you should be thinking about, what are they thinking? What are they possibly going to be thinking when I post this?
Well, the internet lasts forever.
Because, yeah.
It's there forever.
And
you may delete it on your feed.
And that's what I was going to say.
But it is there forever. You ever watched Sandlot?
Yes.
Forever.
Yeah. How many times have we seen content be deleted maybe a few hours into being posted because they got so many negative comments and just people like not approving of the message that is being portrayed on social media, and then that agent or whatever has to delete that post because they feel attacked and they're like, "Oh, sorry, this wasn't what I was trying to do. Let me delete this." But it's a little bit too late at that point, because you've already caused an impression to whoever saw it, and maybe they screen recorded, maybe they shared it to other people, and that's never going to go away. So again, goes to what you were saying, is you want to be very careful because it's there forever.
And so let's tie this into the real estate industry, because that's what we're in. And there's other industries that this will apply to as well. But the real estate industry, we're very fortunate here in the Bay Area, and with the brokerage that we work for, that they encourage
personal branding,
creativity, thinking outside the box. There's some agents that we work hand in hand with that I think do an exceptional job with being creative.
Shout out to Roland,
Matt, Brooks, Christian, like being able to be creative, be themselves, because what you see on the screen is them. Like when you meet them in person, that's the same.
That's who they are.
That's who they are. But then also, when you look at them on the screen, you also can tell that they're super professional.
Yeah.
Right? And they have and each person does it their own way. And we get along with them as well, because we kind of do the same thing, right? So that's cool. I think that's what it needs to be. Do I want to work with Mark and Victor? They seem like cool guys. Like, what you see is what you get. Now I'm talking about, this is just my personal opinion, but I think some agents worry more about getting clicks, getting views, getting that social media fame, going viral, than actually being a successful real estate agent.
A successful
success that what I consider success for me may be different than someone else. But I'm just saying success as in someone that actually makes a living solely off of the earnings they make from doing real estate.
Closes enough deals to be able to translate into.
This is what I do. This is my career. I
Yeah.
do nothing else. Like, if I wasn't getting paid on TikTok, if I wasn't getting paid from this, I'm going to be able to live a decent lifestyle based on, the amount of deals I do.
Or the volume that you're closing.
And that the volume, like the income I'm bringing in.
Yes.
And that number can vary because some people's goals are higher than others, or some people live more frugal lifestyles or whatever. I'm just saying, like, for me, I don't care about the clicks. Yes, I want engagement because engagement means
translates into conversations.
Yeah, conversations, which translates into me being able to help somebody out. But I also am aware that, hey, if I get 3,000 people to engage in this video, a room of 3,000 people is a lot. I don't get caught up that, I need 100,000 clicks.
And that's the problem, Mark. People don't realize it or don't see it that way. They see the views and they're just thinking, it's just a view. But if you put those views, like you mentioned, in an actual room, it's a lot of people. And that's how you got to think about it.
So tying this back into what we're seeing online. So I'm noticing there's a lot of agents out there that are a new trend in real estate is the home tours. We do them once a week, MVP Home of the Week. We look at listings, not just our listings, but listings of agents in the area that caught our eye, and we want to show you that property. Like, hey, this is a property that's available on the market. If you're interested in buying, not just this property or something like it, let us give you a tour. Let's give you some features. I'm noticing, so we're seeing an increase in that, okay? But I'm noticing there's an agent that does it very well in the San Antonio, Austin area. His name is Brad the Realtor. He has a big following. He's a pretty funny guy. And he does these home tours, and he's kind of like a character when he does it. And he says some funny stuff, some off-the-wall stuff, right? Profanity's used a little bit more than like most people would use, right, in giving a home tour. But it works for him. Like, when you watch the video, it's genuine. Like, you can tell, like, this is who this guy is. But it's a trend now. So now we're seeing videos of people doing it, and it's like, I'm going to give this home tour, but the whole home tour, I'm just dropping F-bombs because that's going to sell. Like, when has that become acceptable? Do you just walk in? When I worked at the bank, I just walk in the bank and said, you know what, today I'm just going to drop F-bombs all day.
One thing's having a humor and then being a comedian. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have humor, show who you are, show a little bit of your funny side. I try to do that with El Tocayo.
Yeah.
Right? I have my little made up person, that I came up with. It works for me.
Yeah.
But there's a fine line that I don't want to cross, and I think he's crossing that because you're not going to talk like that to your clients.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not saying, I don't think Brad, I think that's who he is. So it comes off that he doesn't cross that line. He might have pushed the envelope a couple times on a couple videos. And he's also, there's someone else that he works with. Man, his name it's dropping me, but he does like a speed tour where he like runs through the house in his socks. It's pretty funny.
A lot of people are actually picking up on that.
Yeah, but he worked, the guy that originated, he works with that guy, Brad the Realtor. And man, my bads I doubt you're listening to this, but if you are, I like it. It's him though. Like, what I'm getting at is like, there's always an originator, and when you copy someone, it's flattery. I don't take, like, if someone's gonna copy what we do, that's dope. That means you liked it, right? But it comes off genuine when they do it. And yes, maybe they push the boundary more than maybe I would in some things. But hey, if it works for them,
they had the guts to do it, and it worked for them, right?
But what I'm getting at is like a lot of this stuff is forced now. Like, that's not you, but I'm gonna force myself to be this person.
I don't cuss. I don't do none of this stuff. But I see the engagement that they're having. I see the likes. I see the comments. I want that. So I'm going to copy it.
And I'm going to crank it up.
Even though that's not me. That is the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm gonna I'm gonna crank up
The amount of F-bombs that I
F
use
bombs.
and the profanity and the vulgar, that I use, vulgarism or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me, man. And then it's like, okay, and then now we have like, then it's like a thing. Okay, now like, there's some agents that they're out there like rapping. Like I'm a rapper. I'm a Instagram rapper. I'm a rapper about real estate now. Like, okay, I mean, I get it. You had like that one video goes viral. You get your what us old heads call your 15 minutes of fame. It was funny for that week. And then it's like now that's your character and it's just like same. And yes, you may be getting the views, but like are you just doing it for views or are you doing it to actually sell homes? And I would say it's for the views because we can pull up people's data. We can see what people, if all your videos are just you rapping, where's the videos of like celebrating your clients' wins?
Or educating
them. They're far and few. Whatever.
To each their own. Like I said.
Nah, man. Like, not to each their own. Like, what we're talking about is where's that line? Like, okay, it's cool. You're talent. You have talent, right? You're music. You're a musician. You play the drums.
Yeah.
Right? Is all your videos you playing the drums to doing real estate?
Once in a while, I might post my life besides real estate just to show what I do.
But my thing is
that's it.
And there's our buddy Rich. He does music. He's a musician, and he creates songs and he ties it into real estate. But those songs, they kind of educate.
Yeah.
It's not just for clicks. It's actually like there's substance to it. Not just rhyming off a popular song because it's a popular song. I'm going to use the trending song. I'm going to change some lyrics to tie into real estate. Right? I can do that. I can, bro. I got some skills. You know what I'm saying? And it's like just for the clicks. So when is it too far? What happened to being like a professional? Like, doesn't doing this stuff dilute our profession?
It really does.
I think it does.
I think it does. I think the consumer's the ultimate pays the price for that because they feel they might confuse something. They might see the views and the likes as a success when it's really not. There's a lot of agents out there that will post all their solds in the week or in the month or in the year. I mean, that's all they post. And the viewer behind that is like, wow, that's a success. And yeah, they might be a successful agent, but are you making that connection with them immediately? Because they're not showing any of the personality. Where is their personality besides their success?
Yeah.
Where's the educational portion to try to make that that connection with you, the consumer? That's what we're all at least you
and that's one thing
right?
And that's one thing that I see too. You see all these, and the internet is crazy, bro. Like if you click on one ad, the way the algorithms work, and you just get bombarded. So, one of the guys we like following, Hermosi, right? If you follow him, sometimes you start getting because he's big on like physical fitness, the selling of like workout programs. That's kind of how he got big. So if you watch some of his stuff, all of a sudden you get bombarded with all these people on the internet, and they're showing getting out of their fancy cars and living the lifestyle. And, they say, oh, sign up for my program. I make millionaires. I'll teach you fitness coaches how to make millions. Or we see, I saw one and it was like, this guy's like talking about, we see it all the time. We kind of laugh about it. We kind of joke about it with our industry. They say if someone's selling you a process on how to sell a lot of real estate, is because they're selling you a process that no longer works
for them.
They're selling you the process that worked for them last year, but it's not working anymore. But they're going to sell you on what worked for them last year. You know, and then they're
It's
getting
so
out.
true.
They're
Yeah.
getting out of production. If anyone's selling you a get rich process, it may have worked. The proof is probably them from when it worked a year or two ago, and now it's not working anymore. But they're gonna sell you this process because they're gonna make money off you thinking it's gonna
Now
work.
they gotta adapt some way,
Yeah,
somehow.
but we joke a lot. We joke a lot about it in this industry, and I would say it's in a lot of industries. I know people in the finance world that joke about this too. You know, people have not saying no one's a hard worker, but they work hard, right? And they have some success. You know, success starts coming in, and now all of a sudden they're an expert, and they're giving life coaching and financial coaching tips on Instagram.
Had one good year of selling homes, and now they're, like you mentioned,
Like their whole personality changes, though, right? Like,
that wasn't them a year ago, but now they're better than
well,
everyone
because
else.
they got likes, you know. And then it's like, okay, now that I'm getting the likes, now what am I really doing this for? Am I really doing this for the likes? You know. And then when I'm doing this, like, how far can I push the boundaries? I just think, like, obviously industries matter. If I'm a comedian, I'm going to be as controversial and funny as possible on social media because that's my job. You follow that one guy you went and saw, Concrete.
Yeah,
Well,
hilarious.
I started like pulling him up, and some of the stuff he pulls up it's pretty crazy what he posts, but it's fun. That's his job.
Yeah,
He's a comedian.
yeah.
I'm not gonna do his skits in related to real estate. It has not, you know, like it's not, to me, it's not appropriate. You're trying to buy one of the, if not the biggest investment in your home, and I'm over here on the internet just cussing you out and then throwing people's business out there and then claiming that I'm an expert and because I've been doing this for 8 years. You know, yeah, I'm an expert to an extent, but I'm not the final, albeit say in real estate. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still evolving. And I don't do this for recognition. I don't even care if I had one follower. My thing is, you have to have a social media presence. It's kind of like your resume now. And I'm going to treat it like a resume. And I'm going to put stuff out there where if people looked at my page, you're going to understand that Mark's professional. Mark likes to educate based on his experience. He likes to celebrate his clients' wins. He likes to celebrate some of his wins sometimes too, because we work hard. You know,
You gotta share your values.
I like a little bit of recognition.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? And yeah, that's it, bro. That's kind of like, and then us working together, and we're kind of funny. We put some funny stuff out there.
Yeah,
and
it's like 80% real estate, 10% personal, and then 5% miscellaneous.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, it's real estate first.
yeah,
It's educating the client first.
yeah,
Showing the client's wins, not our wins. Okay, when I post a key day, when I'm giving keys, it's all about the client. It's not about me. Even though I won with them,
yeah,
MVP Real Estate won with them, it's about them, not about us.
yeah.
Because people have actually, it's funny. The last key day that I had, Mark, my client comes up to me and they're like, "This is why we work with you, because we see the genuine person you are." And it's like that coming from them, like it just makes me feel so good that I'm doing it the right way.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, man, that's what it's ultimately about, is to get that feedback.
Yeah, and I think it's not just, you know, we're talking about real estate. We're not trying to put anybody on blast, and if you think we're talking about you, probably are. But hey, I'm not knocking for what you're doing. I'm just giving my perspective as a fellow real estate agent, that I think some of the stuff that's put out there kind of dilutes our
Industry.
profession. Meaning, when I say dilute, I mean it makes people look at us less professional. Like,
very cringy sometimes.
Look, I'm not Ryan Serhant. I don't sell $20-30 million penthouses in Manhattan. I don't need to wear a $15,000 suit. I don't need to be chauffeured through the streets of Concord, okay? He needs to do that. He needs to live that lifestyle because that's his clientele,
billionaires,
okay?
millionaires.
My clientele is me. People like me. you listening to me, you watching this, you probably my clientele. We probably have similar views. You know, I like dressing. I worked in the banking for many years. I don't like dressing in suits anymore. I like dressing not sloppy. I'm not going to show up in basketball shorts and a hoodie to show you're home, right? But if it's hot outside, I might show up in some shorts and some tennis shoes and look professional at least, right? A polo or a nice shirt. But I'm just going to be like, that's how I dress. That's how I normally dress. Unless I'm just hanging around the house. I'm going to talk to you like I would talk to any of my friends, like somebody, you know. I don't cuss a lot. No, you know, I'm gonna be professional. I'm not gonna talk to you like we've been homeboys or homegirls, you know, my homegirl or homeboy for the last 20 years. I'm gonna talk to you like I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be genuine, but I want to make sure that I'm professional still. I want you to look at me as a professional. Think about it. If you go to your doctor's office, I know this is a podcast. I'm gonna cuss a little bit. Maybe Alex can beep this out. You go to the doctor's office and he goes, "What's up, Mark? How's shit going?" I'm like, "Oh, doc, my leg's really hurting." "Oh, shit, man. You probably just pulled some shit."
No.
You know?
I was about to make that point, Mark. Look, that connection, which I spoke to you about earlier, it's made instantly almost. You can tell who's vibing and who's not. And if the person is a little bit more reserved, you're going to be more reserved because we don't want to make it uncomfortable or awkward. But we have that side as well where if they're all about that, then that's what we're going to be about as well, because we want to make this whole experience fun and engaging, right? So,
but we're still going to hold that level of professionalism.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. And I think when we lose sight of that and we just worried about views and clicks, then we do things to dilute our profession and make it look like we're just a bunch of knuckleheads that open doors and
add no value.
And that's when you start seeing these companies step in that say, you know, that's when you're getting these things where not only these companies that come in and, you know, discount their services, but also you get these, you know, consumers or someone looking to buy or sell a home, and they're kind of just think like we're all the same. And it's not, because how many times have we helped a family and their family members there on key day and they see the you know, our videographer, and we're making sure stuff is like the home is clean, there's balloons, there's a gift. We're taking family portraits for them to keep and share. We're doing a video, and yes, the video shares their win. It allows us to share their win with you, and maybe that you want to win with us. Maybe that client resonates with you. And that family member's like, "Damn, my agent didn't do this."
It's happened more than once.
Right?
Yeah.
But if we're all just a bunch of knuckleheads making jokes and cussing all day, and then saying we sell homes, like what's the differentiator, you know? Like, I don't know, man. I just think like we need to look at our profession. It's a cool profession because it's a good mix of professional and personal. And when done right, like some of the agents we mentioned earlier in this podcast, when done right, it's nice to see. Like, it's dope. Like, it's really dope. But I feel like we're kind of leaning towards that just because, like, maybe what we're getting at is don't try to be someone that you're not, because when that you come off ungenuine and you think that just the cuss words and being cool is what's getting this person business, is not. What's getting them business is people seeing that this is genuinely them.
Absolutely.
So
people could read the fine line, like, or the you know.
Be careful. Don't cross that line, because the internet lasts forever. So you may be giving this home tour and you're over there cussing, dropping F-bombs and stuff. And 10 years down the line, you're now the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And guess what starts going viral on X? The video of you cussing.
Uh-oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like, yes, generations are changing. But I feel that you still should have respect for like the professional side of any industry that you're in. You can't just lose that respect because it's cool or it's trending. Like you should respect what people did in the past, and like maybe you put your spin on it, but you still got to have like that level of professionalism. I don't know. That's just me, bro.
That's me too, bro. 100%.
Well, I have nothing more else to say. I don't have anything else to say.
Just don't brag if you don't have to brag. That's all I gotta say. Like,
yeah, and don't cuss if you don't have to cuss.
yeah, I'm just saying.
You can still be fun. You can still be funny without just dropping F-bombs. Keep in mind, y'all, like for those of us that have kids, sometimes we like watching these home tours, and I prefer not to watch them on mute with my 3-year-old next to me because you just want to drop F-bombs all day.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep.
All right. With that, we look forward
to winning with you.